What he said yesterday, do you think that it precludes them, in Hal's mind right now, for being uber aggressive to retain Juan Soto?
No, but he's then not being smart about it. So he's right that you don't need a $300 million payroll to win a World Series. However, you already have a lot of money tied up in a little bit of players, whether it's Garrett Cole, Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton, Carlos Rodon, on and on and on. And that's not even half the roster. So how do you then plan on spending, what, $40 million, $50 million a year to get Juan Soto? Like, what's it going to be? What do you think it's going to be? That's what we're talking about. It's not going to be less than 40. Yeah.
50?
Okay, right. So let's just say 50. So on top of already the superstars, you're going to be willing to tie up whatever's left of your payroll because you have a budget in Juan Soto. And I get it. I love Juan Soto. Sure, that's the right move. However, how then are you building out the rest of the team? Hoping that young guys come up and perform? Yeah, that's great, but that's not, to me, the smart way to build a team. That's why if you don't want to have a payroll that exceeds the luxury tax threshold, then you shouldn't have massive superstars in multiple positions.
The Yankees, to me, are really set up to be built in a way that they haven't been built in a long time. And again, I don't like Hal saying that because it's offensive. It's offensive to those of us and those of you more. I do it once in a while, but I have a press pass. So, the games are on the station. I'm not gonna lie and say I never get free tickets. I do, but many of you don't. So many of you spend a ton of money. I respect that. I pay for parking. $50 to park. When we go to opening day, we lose money in terms of you and I doing the show because we got to pay parking. Right. So to talk about it's an odd look. The timing is very odd. Even though they had lost 2 games before last night to Seattle. By the way, nice to see him smack Seattle finally here. Finally.
It's actually a big game. Again, relative.
It's not
a big game that they must win, but you don't want to lose 3 out of 4 again to another good team.
We talked about that. So I don't like the optics of the quote when you actually see it. But the Yankees, think about this. So Gleyber Torres is going to be gone. Gleyber Torres is making $14 million a season. Bye-bye. Rizzo, I believe the option's $17 million. If he's gone, don't care. Now, the Yankees of years past, when they had just a solar system of superstars everywhere, I know that the numbers weren't this wacky. You guys get $50, $60 million a year. It's getting almost untenable. That's why I get what Hal's saying. This year, though, Sal, Volpe's making $810,000. Luis Gil's making $750,000. Stop me when you hear a name that will not be a part of the future big time. Clark Schmidt is making $2.4. Luke Weaver's making $2. Cabrera, and I think he could probably slot in for Gleyber, is making $783,000. Austin Wells is making $750,000. Jason Dominguez is making $745,000.
Yeah, but these guys,
I know. I'm not saying he's hitting $275. I get it.
You're right. They're cheap, but are they good?
Well, I think that they're good enough to certainly be able to be in the plan so far. Well, I know we could play
Peraza,
defense.
Same thing.
Yeah, well, I know that Peraza could play defense.
LeMahieu's making money. Stan's making money. These guys aren't going anywhere. Obviously, Judge, Cole, Rodon,
I get it, man. I'm not saying it's perfect. No, trust me,
Clay Holmes is coming off the books. Who's closing then?
Well, you're going to resign him. Spencer, and that's why it's funny. This is funny. That's why. Now, Spencer Jones is not off to a great start. If I want to be fair, when I talk about the Mets prospects, as we did yesterday with Cohen, Gilbert and Acuna, these guys aren't playing well. Spencer Jones is not exactly tearing things up.
What's his numbers? You have them?
235. Okay. Yeah, he's striking out a lot. I know.
And to be fair and consistent, I don't care what he's doing in the minor leagues. I'm not going to judge him on that. But
but I'd like to see him, have more than 2 home runs after 35, 40 games. He's striking out a lot, whatever. I do like the kid's talent tremendously, and I do think he projects to be a big piece of the puzzle for the Yankees in a very long-winded way. Here's the bottom line, and here's why, despite it sounding odd and ill-timed and misplaced, Hal is actually right. I would say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of the starting 8 positions, right, are going, including of 9, are making peanuts this year and next year and the year after. So there's the thought that, there's the actual stuff that Hal said, just like as a general application, and then there's what Hal said, and you apply it to the actual roster, and it fits. Again, I don't want to see this because it's offensive to those who spent a ton of money, but Hal Steinbrenner is absolutely right. They are locked and loaded for years, and if they can't win by giving Soto $50 million, and obviously you have Judge and the Rodon and the Cole deal, and Holmes will get big money as a closer. then they're not built the right way, and that's on the Yankees, and that's a different conversation.
He's right in theory that you don't need to spend $300 million to build a World Series team. That is factually correct. It's been proven before. However, this is the New York Yankees, and they already have a lot of money tied up in big stars. So you could talk about Spencer Jones or Peraza or Cabrera or whoever else you want to throw out there. They have a lot of money, and let's say Juan Soto does come back, and they give him $50 million a year. That's $90 million tied up in two players.
Well,
$90
throw
million.
Garrett Cole in, too.
I mean,
help yourself out here.
Garrett Cole's 36.
So.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just getting going here.
All right.
Garrett Cole's 36. Look at DJ LeMahieu. Look at John Carlos Stanton. How many more years these guys have? Look at Carlos Rodon. Like, those guys' contracts aren't going anywhere anytime soon. You want to project 2, 3, 4 years down the road? Maybe, but he's going to have to take some months here. You can't put it this way. You shouldn't be talking about payroll and luxury tax threshold when you're trying to sign Juan Soto, who's going to get well over $500 million.
Yes, and that is why I answered, and, the first thing I really responded to was that I don't like the timing. Number one, it's offensive, as I've said twice now, but the timing is odd. Yanks are rolling, despite stumbling twice before yesterday's win against Seattle, last night's win against Seattle. I don't understand, dropping that in the middle of nowhere. It's like, I can understand if this wasn't. Now, let's fast forward this year. So let's take Soto out of the equation for a moment. Let's say you've got an aging, decaying Aaron Judge. You've got, 3, 4, 5 bad contracts. And the Yankees are fairly listless. 2, 3 games over 500, a game or 2 under. This is a couple years down the road. And Hal said that. I would understand that. Because what he's telling the fans is, hey, guys, the way we're constructed right now, it ain't working. And it's got to be blown up. And it's just not plausible to operate this way financially with decaying assets at a team that's not good. It's the exact opposite. Like, they've got, I think, I can't, I guess I could, I won't do this now, but I could probably at some point prove, or at least assert strongly, that the Yankees have more youthful influence on this roster and moving forward than any time since the dynasty started. Honestly.
Right, but we still don't know.
No, fair.
Whether it's Wells, Peraza, even Dominguez, you still
no doubt.
Spencer Jones. Yeah. Ideally, if all those guys pan out.
Yeah, but Volpe is at least.
I love Volpe.
Okay, so Volpe's already locked in. Boom, done.
Right.
Now, is he a superstar down the road? Is he a star?
Could be. What's going to
be.
Yeah, what's going to happen when you have to pay him then?
Well, but he's not a scrub. We're not paying him for 5 years unless you buy 6 years.
I guess by then, maybe Stanton's contract will finally come off the books.
It is. It's in 3 years. It's off the books. Listen, Stanton, you say that. You're not wrong. Stanton complicates things. Now, at least Stanton's a little productive this year. To me, the key is Torres. It's not as simple as...
Well, he's a goner.
Well, I know, but you have to incorporate that. It's not as simple as saying, God, Soto's making $50 million. You just add to to their current payroll, which is over $300 million. Gleyber's 14, gone. So, and Verdugo, who's making about 7 or 8, I got to tell you, if Dominguez is the real deal and Spencer Jones comes out, I love Verdugo. Verdugo's gone.
Right.
So then you have another guy making peanuts.
Well, that's what you're going to have to do.
Well, yeah, I hear, but I'm okay with that.
Right,
you can conceivably have an outfield next year. Not conceivably, I actually think that you will. Of Judge and Soto and Dominguez and Spencer Jones at first base.
And you
honestly could have that.
You're not going to pay anybody in the bullpen. You're not going to pay anybody in that starting rotation. Obviously, Heel and
Clark Smith's making $2 million. Lucas Hill's making $750,000.
I understand. You need 5 guys at least.
That's 40% of rotation.
You have Garrett Cole. Yeah, no, I get it.
I mean, that's not bad.
You're going to have to pay some other...
of course you're going to have to pay other players. You got Stroman's under contract next year, $16 million.
Okay, well, does that count against the payroll or not?
Well, of course it does, but do you have a problem with Stroman's production so far this year?
No, he's fine.
That's what I'm saying. He's worth the $16 million so far.
All I'm saying is if they make that move, you're investing a lot of money for a guy that's talking... Point is, he shouldn't be talking about payroll.
That I agree with you on.
That's it.
I agree with you on that.
You're the New York Yankees. He's right. You shouldn't have to spend $300 million, but then you also don't have to spend $90 million on 2 players. Or to further it, you got 126 on 3 players. So almost half of your entire payroll is tied up in 3 players. Then that doesn't add up. Between the two owners here, you got Steve Cohen tweeting about blowing up the team or whatever, DMing somebody. At least he wouldn't be talking about the payroll stuff. Like, I don't want to hear that from Hal. Hal's been a great owner, right? Sitting back, not getting
lets his guys do their jobs.
Even keel
cuts
temper.
the checks. Yep.
Stop. We know that you don't need to spend, or you shouldn't need to spend $300 million. But we also know that you're trying to sign Juan Soto. The two to me don't go hand in hand. You may be able to do it.
Yeah, but they do when you removed Gleyber Torres and Rizzo, which is what will happen.
Yeah, okay, and other people, because he talked about, we got $100 million coming off the books. Yeah, Verdugo, Clay Holmes, all that money's coming off the books. Yeah, okay, you're tying a lot of money. BT, do the math. $300 million. You already
I've done it already.
So
I just gave you seven contracts for next year.
So half of it is tied up in
five are making under $1 million.
Yeah, okay.
$1 million.
Yeah, five
guys that matter.
They've done nothing in the big leagues.
Volpe?
One.
That's 1 for 1.
All right, Dominguez.
He looked like Mickey Mantle in 8 games.
7 games. So did Kevin Moss.
Don't do it, Kevin Moss. Come on, what's his nickname?
Spencer Jones Moss. He's done nothing. Austin Wells done nothing. Peraza done nothing. Cabrera's a bit player.
You need role players. You need bench guys.
Has played 7 games. I'm not like I like Dominguez. What you saw? How can you not like what you've seen?
DJ's going to be eventually gone. Stanton's going to be eventually gone. Gleyber's definitely going to be gone. So is Rizzo. I think he's got 2 more years, but it's not crazy money.
And I gave you the 3 players.
Yeah.
That doesn't include DJ, Rodon, or Stanton.
Rodon's a good pitcher. I got no problem with Rodon.
Okay, me neither. Well, right now, I don't have any issue with him other than the fact that, it was one big game that he started this year against Baltimore. He wasn't any good. But the point is, you're trying to get under a number. You're paying Rodon a lot of money. It'll be fascinating to see it play out. I wouldn't have confidence after hearing that the Yankees are locked to get Juan Soto. BT and Sal on the Fan, our friends at Town Fair Tire, remind you that at Town Fair Tire, you always get the guaranteed lowest price on name brand tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. Albert is in Staten Island. What's up, Albert?
Hey, so talking about Soto, I think if the Yankees don't re-sign Soto, that is a huge loss. Regardless of luxury tax and payroll and whatnot, because the way that the Phillies used Bryce Harper to lengthen his career at first base, because you do the same with Judge later on in his career.
These are all things I've said, by the way. I said this 2 months ago, Al.
Guys like Dominguez and Jones put up.
Mm-hmm.
What was that?
Not now.
Yeah, so what's your point, though? I'm confused.
What I'm trying to say is the...
Come on, Al. Wake up, buddy. Let's go. Come on, Al. Get a little coffee in those veins, will you?
The payroll should not matter if Soto is the guy, and Soto is the guy.
Right. Correct. That's exactly right, Albert. Thank you for the call. That's exactly right. I could understand what Hal is saying theoretically. You're right. You don't need to spend $300 million. However, now's not the time to be saying that. You got Juan Soto here. You want to keep him here. You said that. Everybody knows that. Don't be talking about the restrictions. Figure it out down the road. You want to tell me, BT, that next year they figure out the payroll going into the season, and they say, okay, well, we can put all these younger players here, not pay anything. Fine, let's see it play out. And now I would argue that that's not a smart way to build a team. Mm-hmm. And I would also argue that while you have Judge and Soto here, you want to maximize it. Now's not the time to be trimming the payroll. You want to say in the future, as you develop some of these guys and they do start to become mainstays, fine. But it's hard for me to understand you're paying 3-4 players more than half your payroll, and you're talking about, big stars now, obviously, but you're talking about having payroll restrictions and not needing to spend $300 million.
Yeah, I saw this. I'm like, how? I don't know why you're saying this now. I'm granting you this, but listen, we get paid. We get paid to give opinions, obviously, entertain you, whatever we do, right? And the part of that is obviously watching games. And quite literally, a lot of that is reacting to what people say of prominence in our town. That's why when Steve Cohen say, or what somebody says or somebody writes. So when Steve Cohen didn't get the DM properly to the person he was trying to DM, we reacted to that. Okay, Hal, the words yesterday, we react to that. But all the words and all the DMs that didn't go where they were supposed to go and all the games, strip it down, for at least for Hal, to one simple thing. For me, do I think that they will re-sign Juan Soto? Yes. Number 2, do I think that the Yankees have as many truly viable young players with roster influence and upside that they've had since the 96 championship team? The answer is yes. So we can get worked up in a lather, the numbers and Sal, don't get me wrong. I understand what you're saying. I'm not trying to minimize that. Like, it's annoying to see that, but let's not get lost in the forest here. Yanks are cutting. They're going to try to cut a massive check for Soto, and the Yankees are in position to be very good for a long time.
Matt is in Vernon, New Jersey. What's up, Matt?
Matty.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good.
Now, you kill me with the Yankees and your takes. I love you. I love your opinion. It's your show. I love you. The way the Yankees right now are constructed, I think it sets up for the future. The versatility of having the outfield depth that we do. The caller before mentioned it before. Move Judge to first base. And BT, you mentioned it a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Judge to first base in a couple of years. You have versatility with, if you get Soto, you got Dominguez, you got Spencer Jones. You have a lot of infield help. Now, I don't think Cabrera is the option, or Oswaldo Cabrera is the long-term option for either second or first base.
No, you're hoping Peraza would be one piece. Yeah, but I'm not arguing that they're not set up nicely or not built well here to have success. What I'm arguing is two things can't be true. You can't talk about how you're going to go get Juan Soto and sign him lifelong Yankee and talk about the payroll. Like, nobody wants to hear that. You're tying. He's right. You don't need to spend $300 million to build a World Series winner. However, what do the Yankees think? They're the only team in the world that's going to have two of the biggest stars in the sport and yet keep their payroll under $300 million and build a successful team? Doesn't work like that. Why put restrictions on it? You're going to go all in on Judge and Soto. Fine. Do it. Shut your mouth and spend the money to build this team out. And right now, they're not. I mean, the Yankees, they missed the playoffs last year. Even with Soto this year. Let's see what they can do in the postseason. Like, it sounds great. It looks pretty good. They still haven't accomplished squad yet.
I agree.
And he's talking about payroll restrictions. Like,
I think
New York Yankees. This isn't the Mets, this is the Yankees.
I agree. I think it's a wait and see, and I think it's wordplay. I think all it is right now is words. It's when it comes down to it, we'll see what happens with Soto. We'll see what happens with first base, second. We'll see what happens. I think it's all wordplay.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, Matt, and thank you for the call. BT, but project this moving forward. Like, Aaron Judge is here for a long time. Yep. He's a big-bodied guy. He's been often injured. Nobody's knocking the greatness of
Don't bury the lead. He's also a superstar.
Yeah, no, I understand that.
I didn't hear that come out of your mouth.
Well,
I'm hearing the negative. He's long. He's,
Well, I'm talking about the
he's
long-term
also one of the best players in baseball. Keep going. I'm listening.
How did he look last year in the first year of that contract?
He looks absolutely phenomenal.
No, but you didn't answer the question. Well, how did he look last year in the first year of that contract?
Well, he looked great until he ran into the wall in Dodger Stadium. He probably would have won the MVP. If not, he would have absolutely finished second.
Are you now trying to say that Aaron Judge is not often injured?
I'm saying that the injuries have been circumstantial.
Okay. Well,
no, they really have been.
Throughout his entire career, circumstantial.
Come, be fair.
Yeah.
Come on. Be fair. There's soft tissues. There's
the guy had an abdominal issue in spring training. There's mid-spring beat-up. I've never heard that in my life.
Has he missed a game?
No, he was horrible in April and May.
Has he missed a game?
Yeah. He was horrible.
Has he missed a game?
I mean,
is he going to be an all-star?
He might as well have.
May he win the MVP if Soto doesn't win?
You think he's going to, during the length of that contract?
No, I don't think he's going to be fully healthy because I don't think anybody will be. But right now, superstar.
It's year two.
Yeah, and year two, he's a superstar.
And there have already been issues.
No, there's no issues. Yankees are in first place, and he's a superstar.
Right.
Well, I don't see an issue at all. What's the issue?
Last year.
Am I missing? What am I missing?
Well, just like the Yankees last year, the playoffs. They missed the playoffs last year.
Okay, so
did that not happen?
No, Sal. Yes, they did not make the playoffs.
Why did they not make the playoffs?
Because the idiotic, moronic Dodgers have an antiquated stadium that if they would have fixed, he would have been playing, and they would have been a playoff
Because Judge got hurt. I'll simplify.
Because a concrete slab that was poured in 1962 has never been changed.
Now, he's making 36.
That's why.
Oh, no, wait, that's Cole. I'm sorry. Cole making 36.
Who won the Cy Young last year, by the way?
Cole's great. I understand that. Nobody's knocking him.
You make it seem like everybody's a Stanton contract, dude.
No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is projected moving forward. You're going to pay Juan Soto.
I understand.
At least
whatever he wants.
Years.
That's good. Yep, sign him up.
More over $50 million.
I'll give 55.
Right. Of course you would.
Yeah.
How might not? Because he's talking about payroll. So it doesn't end up. You can't give Judge, and then by the way, projected forward, how Soto projects moving forward, where he is defensively at 25.
He's actually
26.
been very good defensively this year, and why can't he move to first base in 5 years?
Well, because you got Judge there already.
Well, but Judge is going to DH a little bit those last 2 years.
Right.
It's called roster flexibility, baby. You go from the outfield to first base to DH, and then you go to the golf course.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Roster flexibility.
Which the young kids gives them for the first time in a long time.
Here's what I'll say to this. If you're talking about having payroll restrictions, good luck locking half of that up in 3 players. I mean, and one of who is often injured, the other who is not even a great outfielder. BT and Sal on the Fan.